Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, October 20th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me once again is Bijan. How are you making out?
I'm good, man. I mean, well, I'm good and bad. I injured myself this past weekend training for Tough Mudder and ANW. So, long story short, I sprained my... I don't know if I sprained it, but I messed up my rotator cuff in one way or another. So, I'm nursing that injury, but I should be okay for Tough Mudder. That said, none of that could bring me down because we are joined by a celebrity, somebody that I am starstruck for, Rich.
That's right. We have a very special guest joining us to cover ANW Junior. Joining us via Skype from downstairs at my house is my 12-year-old daughter, Julia. How are you doing, Julia?
Good.
Good.
Yay!
This is going to be the preteen episode where I get one-word answers. So Julia's not a big ANW fan, but she was excited to join us for the podcast to cover ANW Junior, to see what it was all about, watch the show with me, and give her thoughts.
So, what are the thoughts?
Yeah, Julia, first impressions. What did you think? Was it a great show, bad show? What'd you think?
It seemed pretty similar to the original show, but with children.
All right, that's cool.
It's very apropos, but just to get into it, like, seriously, I actually feel like I need to give an apology to everybody involved with the show and everybody else looking forward to the show. I kept saying, it's not for me. I don't think it's going to be all that good. It's just going to be like for the target audience. Rich, I was floored. I was actually really, really enjoying this episode. And in many ways, this is kind of like, Ninja versus Ninja, but in a tournament bracket of different age groups. And it has different dynamics of the fact that since it's younger children, they aren't getting tired and winded. And we are seeing people that are very young, but doing a very amazing athletic feats. I mean, I gotta say, I 100% enjoyed this.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I thought I was crazy. I was like, this is like, honestly, really good. This is like having Team Ninja Warrior all over again, because it kind of went back to the Team Ninja Warrior format instead of Ninja versus Ninja, right, with the brackets and that whole seeding thing.
Yeah, but seriously, I was floored by the level of obstacles. Like, Julia, were you shocked by, were you expecting them to have, really nerfed, easy level obstacles? Or were you pretty impressed by, what these kids had to do?
I'm surprised that they gave them super hard obstacles. The warped wall was 13 feet instead of 14, which isn't that big of a difference, but they had these 10-year-olds going up there, which was very surprising.
Yeah, that was the first thing that struck me too, is that the wall for all of them was 13 feet. Now they had handholds for the 9 and 10-year-olds, right? I guess to describe the format a little bit for those that didn't watch it, we're kind of jumping in here a bit. So we say it's the same as Team Ninja Warrior. I actually thought it was going to be like the regular show. I didn't know it was going to be in like a competitive side-by-side course.
Dude, same.
And then they've got 3 age brackets, 9 and 10, 11 and 12, and 13 and 14. And all of them have a 13-foot wall at the end, but the 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 brackets have lower handholds.
Which makes perfect sense to me. I mean, we've seen a lot of kids at ninja gyms train on smaller versions of the warped wall, and yet it still has a high level of difficulty. And actually, for me, in this episode, I was like, what's the hardest obstacle? What's the most impressive thing? And then they pull out the full-on 13-foot warped wall, which if you guys remember, the original seasons of ANW, earlier seasons, that was the length that the adults were doing. And many people were failing at that. I mean, the fact that they have, 13-year-olds or 14-year-olds, doing that thing, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm 5'11", 30-year-old man, and I can't even do that. I'll fully admit it. So that's crazy. And, I mean, I don't know. I'm very impressed by the level of difficulty. They had other obstacles, which we'll get to in a second, Rich, but, the obstacles really, they were not nerfed. And I think that was very impressive. But the key to this show which I think was a very, very smart idea, is they did garner the format of Ninja versus Ninja rather than American Ninja Warrior. Now, I found that really good. Rich, like, your thoughts? Did you prefer this or the other format better?
I think this works a lot better, especially with the kids, because we've seen over time it doesn't matter whether you know the ninjas or not on this type of course, right? You get engaged by the back and forth and the frantic pace of it, right? So I really think this is the future of ANW as a sport. Like the side-by-side racing, Julia, like you do not know any of the regular ninjas, basically. But watching kids in this course, you find it pretty easy to follow along and to root somebody on versus another.
Yeah, I was like the Ella, I forget her last name.
Ella McRitchie, she won the 11 and 12-year-old division. So what did you like about her? What made you want to see her do well?
She's my age, I guess. I don't really know.
Did you like it? Did you think it was cool? I thought it was pretty cool. They had the boys and girls race head to head. Like there was no boys and girls divisions or anything like that. It was straight up like close races between boys and girls right across the board. What did you think of that, Bijan? Were you as surprised as I was?
No, I wasn't actually. In these age groups, boys and girls are actually at very, very similar athletic abilities. And not just athletic abilities, which, everybody's at. But one thing that's a key component is for children, there are circumstances where the girls are way larger than the boys and vice versa. And that creates different dynamics also. Another big factor is when you're dealing with younger people, the ability to hold on to, anything like hang from a railing or any of those types of obstacles where you're doing a dead hang type of, using that muscle group. I'm losing the words here. But basically, if you're doing a dead hang, these children are a lot lighter. And I mean a lot lighter. So, you've all seen the videos of like kids being able to like hang from a pull-up bar for like minutes on end. It's because they're not holding as much weight. And in that capabilities, we're actually able to see these children develop really good techniques and different abilities in tackling some of these obstacles. I mean, some of these kids doing these kip-ups were amazing, dude.
The technical ability was 100% way better than I thought it would be. Like you said, it's one thing. I knew their strength to weight ratio was going to be off the charts, and we saw some really crazy examples. Like you said, like the girl making a one-handed save on the spin cycle was just
that was insane,
crazy.
Yeah, you're not going to see Grant McCartney doing that, right?
No, you wouldn't see very many adults manage that at all. But like you said, the technical ability. So there's one kid, I forget which one it was, going across the flywheels. I think it was. Basically hit the last one and immediately skip past it. He planned ahead of time. It wasn't just like a split second decision. He had a plan to get through. He knew he could skip past that last obstacle by grabbing it and just pushing quickly, as you would see like Flip or Drew, managed to do. Very, very technical. A lot of the ways they were going through this course. I am surprisingly into this.
Yeah. And another factor also is the fact that it's clear a lot of these children train, and I wasn't prepared for that, and shame on me for that, because of course there's so many children that go to ninja gyms, but I was just really expecting a bunch of newbies that are just trying a super easy course, and it'll just be like, I'm not really into this. I mean, all around they really surprised me, they really impressed me. I'm very curious to hear how other people think about this, and also it can provide another dynamic where younger or families with younger children, kind of like Rich, yourself, and Julia, can watch it together. Julia, I'm not sure if you fully are on board, but maybe children your age, this might be a little bit more accessible to watch than mainstream, full-on American Ninja Warrior.
Do you think, you asked me, Julia, when we finished watching it, if I was going to keep watching it, and I think I will. Do you think you're going to want to watch the next episode with me next week?
Yeah, I might watch a few with you. It seemed pretty interesting.
Like the stories were cool too, right? Like that was, I think, one of the more surprising things of it is I expected, I mean, here's my pet dog. Very cliched kid stories. I don't know what I thought was coming. But
no, that's exactly what I was expecting, bro. To be honest.
Yeah. We got like exactly the same thing we see in the regular show, right? These crazy stories of, instead of it being about these parents adopting kids, it's about the kid themselves being adopted. Like it's so similar in so many ways. It's absolutely amazing. So instead of, hey, I built this backyard course, hey, my dad built this jacked up backyard course that is terrible. And it was really, really entertaining.
Dude, that was the thing. For me, the highlight of the show, not only, like the competition was great and everything, but what really makes or breaks for me, ANW, is if the stories are just god-awful, right? And the thing is, all of these kids I was rooting for, and maybe it's because, I'm an educator, but these kids were really engaging, and their stories were great. Like the first kid, I forget his name, but as you said, the fact that he was adopted by Rich's, long lost brother. If anybody's ever didn't see it, it's literally Rich. So, props to your brother, bro. Like that story was amazing. Like everything involved with it. And also, I forget the name, but the kid in the middle, and I'm sorry, everybody, that we're so vague. I didn't write notes for this because I wasn't expecting to like it so much.
Right, I didn't take very detailed notes either because, like you said, who would have thought it would draw us in quite as much as it did? So I'm sorry. Maybe we'll cover some more as the season goes on. I don't think we'll do it episode by episode, but we'll be touching back on it, I think.
Yeah, I really want to hear everybody's thoughts on it and if they want us to cover this more, because at this point I'm very much open to doing that. But, there are stories where it can even go the opposite way, where oftentimes, children complain about their parents, and we got this story of a child, his dad, because he's all crazy and always training, like doing all these crazy things. I think they call him the monkey in the family or something like that. Like around the house, right. His dad, bless his heart, built this bootleg, like really suspect, course in the backyard. And I love how he just trashes his father, being like, he tried his best, but bless his heart, but this is really bad. And he's even being like, the safety guidelines are awful. Like I could really hurt myself. And he's doing all these quotes in terms of like this backyard course. Like that is hilarious. I was laughing so hard. And I'm sure, like, children like Julia's age and all the children that watch this can relate to that kind of stuff. Because I was that age, and I was like rolling my eyes at everything my dad would do every time he was trying to sound cool, So, hey, I love it. Julia, what was your favorite story on this episode?
Probably. What's that black kid's name?
Yeah, that was a good
one. We
one.
don't remember.
Here, I can look it up, actually. Hang on. Now that I think about it, he's about to come up.
Wasn't it Roberto or something?
Roberto Garamore? Garamore. So Roberto Garamore.
Roberto's story, because it's interesting. Again, I can't think of any words to say.
That's all right.
It's annoying.
Well, before you talk about it, right? Let's group think, right, Julia? So some things that you might have liked about the story could be, it was unique, it was different from everything else, right? Or the fact that he did come from another country and you were rooting for him when you found out that his friends, got adopted, but he was left behind. Or were those the things that stood out to you? Were you just rooting for him because he was like a really nice kid?
Kind of both.
Are you at that age where you think maybe he's cute? Make you blush?
No. He also learned English 2 years ago, it said.
Good point. I didn't even notice that.
Which that would be hard to learn in only 2 years.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Roberto was definitely the one that seemed to grab your attention the most, Julia, because you were disappointed, I know, when he ended up losing out to that other kid. He was adopted from Africa, as it was kind of referencing back to what I said earlier about, we get these stories where the grown-ups adopted somebody. Now we're actually getting the kid side of it. His friend had been adopted first and he was left behind, and they did a really good job of playing up this whole story of, his friend, let his new parents know that he had a friend back there. And I think they said a year later they went back and got him as well, and so now they have like they're brothers now. Like how
I think
cool
there
is
was
that?
three of the kids, and it
Yeah,
is
why
just
did they focus on two? Why would they? I thought that. Why was there three and they kept focusing on two of them?
who knows, man. But at the end of the day, I'm just so incredibly happy that these three children got adopted by the same family, and good on the parents for really like. It's one thing to. It's such a selfless thing to adopt a child and like join them in your family, and they're now their children and they love them fully, but then to reach out that there was in many ways the boys extended brother, right, the third brother, and they went back and made sure to get him as well, and join and make this complete family. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. This is something that would have me in tears on regular American Ninja Warrior. And I'm so thankful that there are stories like this to be shared from not only, it's one thing for a parent to talk about this, but for a child to share this. And honestly, if you look at the parents, not necessarily, I'm not trying to be mean, but maybe they wouldn't have the best chances of getting on American Ninja Warrior, right? So there's not that opportunity to tell this story. But now through their child, you can. So I think we're going to get very unique stories from parents that might not necessarily be the most athletic, but, their children are. So I'm very much looking forward to that. One thing, Julia, when you saw this video and you saw the dad, did you look over at your dad and was like doing a double take, being like, you got a brother that you never told me about? Do I have a long lost uncle here?
No, I didn't really pay attention to the father.
You were just like, get that old man off the screen. Go back to the kids.
Yeah, definitely must have reminded her of me. Then yeah, that makes more sense.
Rich, like on Twitter, just for all of our listeners, you have to do a side-by-side pic. You and this guy, like you just have to show them.
I'll make a point of doing that. All right, so one thing we haven't mentioned yet, there's a $15,000 prize for the winner of the whole thing, so that's cool.
How did I miss that? I was unaware of that. That's a big chunk of change for a family.
That is not bad. That's not bad at all. And they had mentors. I don't know about the mentors thing. I don't know if they just didn't sell it properly. It just seemed like they were there as background.
It was so cringe. Like, it's fine, and I 100% get it. I'm not trying to, like, blame them or, like, fault it too much, right? At least they kept it short. But, they need star power and everything, but the fact that they have these very, how do I say this, not natural things where, you have Barclay or Najee Richardson go up to these two children and basically kind of like, I don't even know, Rich, like, the gym instructors or whatever being like, all right, guys, give it your hardest. You will do great. Like, it's so forced verbiage and blah, blah, blah. Like, there's no connection there. And I'm like, all right, let's keep it moving, guys. This isn't working here.
I felt like there probably would have been some good footage if they're legitimately mentors. They should have been filming them. Like they should have had Barclay walking the 10-year-old and 11-year-olds down the course and talking to them through the obstacles, saying, okay, so when you guys get here, make sure you remember this and do this. Like they could legitimately mentor them, and that would be more interesting than watching them walk up as they're at the starting line and going, okay, guys, remember, do your best.
Yeah, and you can make it fun, like Team Najee versus Team Barclay or something like that, right?
Well, they did it by age bracket, right? So Barclay did the youngest ones.
They can represent people from different ages. I'm just saying something where they can have cheerleaders.
Right. Something. Or if they've been alongside this, like this, or maybe they were, they just didn't focus on them because the kids were on the course. But if they're running alongside the course and yelling things at them as they're going, like encouraging them and trying to, help them out if they get stuck or look like they were, I don't know. But they didn't get stuck. These kids were great.
Yeah, the kids were amazing. And I think it's one thing where it's like, we're making these criticisms, but now the more I think about it, the more of the fact that I am really happy that they focused on the children. ANW could have really went the opposite way, and the kids were kind of like the second stars to the main ANW stars. And they didn't. They really much put the ANW stars very much in the background and really put the spotlight on the children, their stories, and their athleticism. So the more I think about it, the more I'm cool with it. Julia, did you have an opinion, like, or a preference? Did you want to see more of like the ANW adults and the stars, or did you really enjoy seeing a lot of these kids?
I'm glad that they focused more on the kids, because that's why people are drawn to the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the kids, not so much adults.
Yeah, if you had like a bunch of adults, would you just be like tuned out?
Yeah.
Like normal when we watch the regular show.
But hey, that's perfect because this is geared towards, a younger audience. It's not on a channel where it's a heavily adult viewers. So the fact that this is skewed towards children, maybe they did do the right thing, being like, all right, let's get the adults out of the way. It's about children, and I don't even know if children's the right word. If some kids listening being like, stop calling me a child, but
14.
Yeah, like to younger people, and maybe they're cool with like seeing their people that they can relate to the show completely about them.
To be honest, I was kind of getting jealous at these children my age being able to do things that adults could do, like all this climbing and exercise and athletic stuff.
Mm-hmm. This is actually a very important part that I was thinking of, Julia. Like, do you feel like you want to, not necessarily like go straight on the show, but like, does seeing these children make you want to try to do more athletic things? Maybe go rock climbing with your father. I know, Rich, you've said that you've brought the girls out rock climbing before. Like, is that something that you might want to try, Julia?
I'm not really into athletic stuff.
But you go to the gym. I mean, really, Julia is my gym partner at this point. There is no one else is interested in going rock climbing with me at this point. So Julia goes with me probably every third time, and she likes it. She's working her way up, getting better each time.
That's good. You see, here's the thing that I've noticed about the show, or just in life in general. People tend to like look at others and be like, well, I can't do that, and that's like a barrier. But like Julia, like I'll tell you right now, I have a feeling if you went to a ninja gym, you'd be pretty surprised at like the stuff that you can do.
Julia, you mentioned while we were watching it, you said well, actually, I was amazed at the size of the muscles on these kids. Like these tiny, they're like 4'6", but they have these great big biceps on them. Like, have kids always looked like that? Like, I've never seen kids in that kind of shape before.
I wouldn't say they're common. There's not a single kid in my school is that athletic.
Yeah, I was a little skinny kid, so I can't comment to that. But I did play a lot of sports, and there were kids that were definitely more fit than, others. I think for this, we're seeing a lot of children that specialize in a certain type of athletic or just train for ANW. So I think when it comes to ANW Junior, we're going to see a lot of children with a certain type of body build.
Yeah, Ninja's basically like a big playground, right? So these kids are going full tilt. And actually, if you listen, Wolfpack put out a new podcast that had a young kid on. I think he was 10, actually. He's probably on this show. And he was talking about, his mother was saying, like, he just goes nonstop. He trains every single day because it's fun. Like, it's not a workout. It is just fun for him.
Yeah, children can just run for miles without getting tired. Must be nice. I don't know that life anymore.
I've never known that life.
Same here.
Chip off the old block.
Julia with the sass. I love it. So here's the thing. One thing about this show that really stood out to me, and let's just get into it, is the middle age group. I believe it's 11 to 12-year-olds, right, Rich? Is the middle age group?
Yep.
Yeah, guaranteed. 100% now, I'm calling it now. A girl is winning that age bracket. And the reason for that is because in that age range is when, and there's always exceptions to this rule, but you all remember back to typically 6th, 7th grade. All of the girls are like a foot taller than the boys. It's because girls tend to hit puberty about a year before boys do. And in that particular age group, we've seen it on this episode where the girls are just towering over the boys. What's making me feel like 100% a girl's winning that, though, is the fact that the obstacles involved with that age group pretty much all involve, you know, a big transition in terms of not only hanging, but also, you know, extending your arms like a big wingspan. So I think people that are going to be taller, but still light and able to like hold up their body weight are going to do very, very well in that age group. And in that, I feel, and of course, there's always exceptions. We can find a boy that hit puberty just as tall as girls. But in that, I feel like we're going to see a lot of matchups where there's going to be girls much taller than the boys and still very athletic and fit, ready for this.
Yeah, I think you called it. And Julia, you can vouch for last year and this year. Are the girls in your class taller than the boys?
Actually, no. We have like one of the tallest kids in our class, and he's a guy.
Okay, other than the one boy.
The one boy that hit puberty.
Yeah. That one kid that's going to be that height from now on. He hit it too early. He's done.
I'm really the tallest girl in my class, which isn't saying much, but I'm still taller than all of the guys, so.
There you go.
Yeah, I remember I was in 7th grade, and I think it was 7th grade. It could have been 8th grade, but man, like all the boys were really jealous, but kind of like insecure because all the girls towered over us. We were like, don't mess with like Jessica over there because she'll beat us up. You know, it's one of those things.
I feel like it was grade 6 that was the case. And then grade 7, I was one of those boys that hit early and I was done in grade 7. So I was tall for that 1 year. That 1 year of my life, I was the tall guy. And then it was done. From then on, I was short.
Yeah. I don't know. But in terms of the other age brackets, though, I do enjoy the fact that we get a good mix between boys and girls. And not only that, in the age groups, I mean, I think the athleticism's pretty dang even. You know, the boys obviously aren't going to be, you know, muscling out the girls or vice versa. I mean, everybody's on a pretty even playing field. And I don't know, I think technique really stands out when it comes to this show. And we saw some of these kids really adept with tackling these obstacles. And also, we saw some kids taking some huge chances, which has got to be hard. I mean, I can't imagine me being their age and, like, I don't know, just doing that, I forget what the name of it, but that swinging type thing, and just, like, transitioning one after the other without, like, doing 5 laches before I'm like, all right, I'm going to let go now and pray for the best. You know, like, these kids were going for it.
One of the kids, like, destroyed the devil steps, like just absolutely flew through them.
Oh man, yeah, that was insane.
I loved it. I gotta say, I'm all in for the rest of the season. I hope you guys check it out. It's Universal Kids, or it's actually, I was shocked to find out it's on Family Channel in Canada. Actually, I have it DVR'd so I can stay up to date every week.
Yeah, but more importantly for our listeners, I don't know if it's going to be for every episode, but at least the premiere episode, they put it on YouTube. So it's available online. And it's not like some secondary channel. It's the official YouTube page of, I believe it's Universal Kids, something like that. I want to get the right one. Yeah, Universal Kids. Their official channel has the full show. So I like the fact that they're, you know, representing online. I think they're very much aware that, like, kids that age group don't necessarily watch cable TV, but they sure do watch YouTube.
Julia, would you say that's true? Would you say you watch more YouTube than regular TV?
Yeah, we have an expert here.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go.
Yeah, we do. We watch nothing but YouTube, so yeah.
Quick question, Julia. What's your favorite YouTube page?
That's a hard question. I like a lot of different genres. I don't know what to call them.
Channels?
So who's your top? Can you pick a top 3? I was thinking that too. Like, how would you even pick a top 1 when you subscribe to like 20?
Well, let's all be real. Her number 1 is the Armchair Ninja podcast. Subscribe today. It's amazing. Yeah.
Clearly.
Definitely.
Best gaming channel.
Jacksepticeye.
Hey! Go Julia, man. That's my number 1. For his Let's Plays was awesome. Which one, have you seen his God of War one? That stuff is, like, he was great on that. Now that I think about it, you were young. Don't watch the God of War one. But what am I talking about? But he's really funny.
All right, let's wrap this up here. It's getting really late.
Let's do this.
I can stay up till 5.
Yeah, your mother will kill both of us, but you could definitely do that. So, final thoughts, I guess. We'll start, Julia. Final thoughts. Do you think it's a good show, bad show? Wish your father would stop bugging you? What do you think?
I might watch a few more episodes. It's not my favorite show, but it's not my least favorite show.
Hey, high praise. Here we go. I'll let you know.
High praise from me.
It is. That's actually progress. I got to say, like, couldn't force her to watch ANW except when you were on Bijan. So the fact that she actually did get drawn in a bit, that's a good sign for Universal Kids, whoever we want to say, A. Smith and Company.
That's awesome. And I apologize for my performance, Julia. I'll do better next year if I'm on.
So Bijan, what was your thoughts on the? Well, I guess we kind of get an idea, but like final thoughts on it.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome, man. Honestly, I was very impressed. I was very shocked, to be honest with you, and I 100% take fault for that because I just went in having a very low expectation, and I was there very thoroughly impressed, not only by the format but by the pacing. It very much went very quickly. It never felt like a long hour, and the format alone, just the fact that it's ninja versus ninja format. And the fact that it is tournament style, and the fact that we do have a quote unquote winner by the end of the episode, something Ultimate Beastmaster can kind of take a think from, and really, videos, editing, athletics, just everything was a win for me. Big thumbs up. I was really impressed.
Yep, I completely agree. I think everyone should check it out. If you enjoyed Team Ninja Warrior or Ninja versus Ninja, I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised to check this out and find that it matches up very, very well. It doesn't feel like you're watching a kid's show. It just feels like more ninja.
Yeah, who would have thought that I would be saying this?
All right. That is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us, Julia. How can people reach you on social media?
Scratch.
What's your Scratch name? So let's get you some fans on your Scratch account.
It's okay. I already have enough.
That's right. You get salty over getting too many followers. Strange problem to have. We do not have that issue. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah, hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151.
All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all. Go, Julia!
Torture is over.